looked as though it was 3-0, but Eze was just offside, and to City's delight, semi-automated offside came to their rescue. But De Bruyne, who'd hit the post earlier, pulled one back from a free kick. Omar Marmoush then made it 2-2. City had other chances as well. De Bruyne with a shot over the bar and a flick header as well from McAtee. They even had a penalty claim turned down. An amazing half of football. City 2, Crystal Palace 2. Well, let's go back to the studio where Kennedy, Paul Dickov and Kell have only got 14 minutes to sum things up.
Welcome back to Matchday Live, half-time at the Etihad Stadium, and what a 45 minutes of football. I think that well and truly made up for the rather dull derby at the weekend. Manchester City 2, Palace 2. So much going on in those first 45 minutes. We will try and cover all the main talking points, but Paul, where to even begin? That had absolutely everything.
I don't think we've got long enough, as Ali said there, but look, great game. Palace, they've came here, started the game really, really well. I actually thought City, up until Palace scored, were dominating. We touched on it before the game about how good they are going forward, sitting deep defensively, then hitting in the break, especially with Sarr, who's caused a lot of problems down their right-hand side or left-hand side. Lots of action, lots of goals, lots of questions about penalties and disallowed goals. So what a 45 minutes.
Unbelievable. I mean, we mentioned it before the game, Mark, but particularly Palace on that counter, devastating, and that did seem to be very much the thing that hurt City in them first 15-20 minutes.
Yeah, like football for me is numerical, and so what's happening is in the final third, O'Reilly goes out to the wing back, but then it leaves City with a 3v2 against them in the central area with two centre halves in the front three, and unfortunately for O'Reilly, he's been massively exposed out there. Once he gets outside, ball down the side's a pocket run. So it's the overload in the central areas that kills them. But what City have done really well from that, they're creating 3v2s and an overload in the wide areas as well by the fullbacks City's fullbacks being really high, and with the pocket player and the striker on the outside. So for me, tactically, it's been fascinating to watch from a numbers point of view. Both teams have got goals in them. I think City clearly look like a team who've got plenty of goals in them. I think if they just can tighten up at the back, I think they'll win the game. But the City's Achilles heel this year is conceding goals.
How do you kind of maybe stop, from a City point of view, that overload happening? Then is it Nico or Rico on the other side sitting and not going out there and keeping the numbers in the middle? Or
I think I love Palace's shape. I think it's a brilliant shape, 3-4-3. I'm a huge fan. It's a real tactical battle. So what Palace have done really well, they're getting their wingers really, really high, which pins. So just leaving your wingers high is only 2 players. That pins 4 players, which means you've an overload in the rest of the air. So there's not a lot that O'Reilly or Lewis can do. It's Palace. What City have to do is try and get Lewis and O'Reilly up the other way to do. I'm going to do to you what you were doing to me.
Yes.
And then it's dealing with them 1v1 moments in wide areas. I don't think O'Reilly's been exposed defensively. I think he's been exposed numerically.
Yes.
And even for, I think it was the corner that came for the second goal, Gundogan just lets a player run off him. So it's those little things that cause you. That's where it comes from.
Yeah, and we know any small detail gets punished in the.
That's a bit of communication as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's whether is it Marmoush is on that left-hand side, does he come back and help him, or does Gundo?
It's got to be
on the
Gundogan
left side, the midfielder. He's got to go out and help him out.
Let's try and go through the goals then. So as we mentioned, devastating counter. Man, we'd signalled, and highlighted before the game. Eze, difficult goal to concede, but great from a Palace point of view.
It was, but it's what Mark said. They ended up getting the 2v1 down the right-hand side again. Great ball across, and Eze's man in form, and it's clearly something they've worked at. Known City's shape, and maybe with Nico being there on his own, because Mark's correctly said it a couple of times now. They're getting a 2v1 down that side all the time, and 9 times out of 10 they're getting in. And at 1-0 you're thinking, all right, come on. They had a chance just after, similar one just afterwards. Then they got the corner from it as well. So it's pretty clear that it's something that they've worked on and looked to target City down that side.
Second goal then came from, as you say, the resulting corner that you just mentioned there. The City play seems a little bit frustrated, but you've been able to watch it. Nothing really wrong with it. A well-worked routine, I guess.
No, not fair. What's interesting, you can tell by the setup straight away. Everybody crowding the keeper, three in the 6-yard box, in swing. You know it's going to come in the keeper. Look, it's really simple. The scorer runs off the back of Gundogan, and there's a tiny little block on Ederson, but from Sarr. But if you give a free kick for that, the game will never run. It'll never be fluid. So for me, it was a fair goal. If I'm Ederson, I'm going, can you help me out? But
yeah.
It's beyond soft. Set pieces, football for all Cities. Class and intelligence and creativity in the game. Set pieces, I think 23% of goals are scored from set pieces.
Wow.
And as a head coach, Pep will be really disappointed in that. But the response was phenomenal.
Response was phenomenal. Just before we get to that response, they did have the ball in the back of the net for a third time quite quickly. There was a lot of frustrated City fans around me, but we've got the first use properly of semi-automated offsides, and it was an offside, but they did have the ball in the back of the net.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was tight, but Mark called it straight away. We had a great angle of it here, but yet again, it was that combination down the side.
Yeah.
The ball getting ripped across, but I would like to go back in between the first and second. I'm sure Marmoush should have had a penalty.
I was going to ask about that next. He seemed... It was a lovely ball played in from De Bruyne.
Fantastic. The run, he's went and he's checked and he's went outside again. His movement was great. He took his first touch across, and just as he's hitting it, I mean, Marmoush is a great finisher. He's had a little tug in his shot that's just getting... It's a little tug,
yeah,
but it's enough to put him off balance and not getting a clean strike and goal.
Penalty for you then?
Obviously all day long.
Yeah, of course. But then, I mean, we know we're counting down the days, but it feels like Kevin De Bruyne just seemed to go, all right, let's get ourselves back into it. You could see he was reacting to the crowd. He was trying to lift us, and it was his free kick that got us back underway, Mark.
Yeah, look, two things for me. Technically, it's an outstanding stroke. I think it's a really poor goalkeeping error. The keeper's on that side. He takes a step to his left. There's no need to do that. That's what your wall's for. That's what you've set up. You put your numbers in. I was more disappointed for Palace, the free kick they gave away.
Yeah.
So coming into the game, you're saying to your team, guys, no silly free kicks around there. Anything in the final third, even if it's wide areas, you know the delivery is going to be excellent. So for me, I'm saying stay on your feet, stay on your feet, stay on your feet. Delay and dictate from there. So I was frustrated from a Palace point of view when Kamara gave away the free kick, and as soon as he gave away the free kick, I thought, you're in big trouble here.
Yeah.
From there, it's an incredible strike. I'm looking at my goalie coach saying, really? but all you can do as the player is execute the technical action.
Yes.
And it was outstanding.
He really did. That made it 2-1, and then before the second goal, a player who we also highlighted, who was kind of then grew into the game a little bit more as we became more attacking. McAtee came very, very close with the header, and that would have been, I think, his second header in the last few games. He scored one not too long ago. That shows, I guess, the timing of his runs and his positioning is very acute.
He is. He's an intelligent player, but I think he'd be disappointed in himself. It was at a time City had got back in the game at 2-1. It was relentless pressure on Palace back forward. They picked up second balls. Marmoush got the ball, put a great ball in, and I wasn't the tallest, but you're in you're on the 6-yard line with a free header.
Yeah.
And he has to hit the target there and be disappointed. But I think City's reaction to go 2-0 down, because we've seen it at times earlier on in the season when we went behind.
Yeah.
The heads went down a little bit, and we've looked as if we're not really going to be able to get back in the game, regardless of the time. But they showed real spirit to get back in the game there. The crowd will get right behind them, and just there's so much to talk about.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and then there's still the second goal. But McAtee again was involved in that. He played the ball back across, and it was a lovely finish from our Egyptian prince, Omar Marmoush.
Yeah, it was. I think what James has done brilliantly today, which is why he's in the team. We talked before the game. James is not blessed with electric pace, but he's a technical player, and his football game intelligence is brilliant. And he's caused Palace a lot of problems where he picks up areas, and yes, you can be rightly critical of his header that he misses, but it's the skill to put yourself in those positions to where you are. And good ball in, lovely setback, a little bit of luck because Gundogan's completely mishit it, but more important for me is where Marmoush is, the position he's in to finish. Brilliant, and I thought City deserved that. I think it's a stunning game of football.
Yeah, fantastic, and we're only halfway through it, gents.
Mark made a good point. We're watching it at 2-1, I think it was. So he said, what do Palace do? Do they stick or twist?
Yeah.
Do they sit in?
Yes.
And say we're happy with this now, or do they go back to
it was
what
that
they were
2-0 when they
first
got the third goal, and clearly it was offside, and I was like, I felt personally, if I'm Palace, you don't need to get the third goal. No. You've got to. It will come to you. City are going to have to come under. You're a counter-attacking team. You've got pace to burn up top. Don't go chasing it.
Yes.
I'm not convinced they did that, but my worry was I felt like they were a boxer who were 5 rounds ahead in the fight and trying to knock the opponent out, and they got clobbered.
Yeah.
That's how I seen it. If I was a coach, I'd be a little bit frustrated. I'd be really frustrated as the Palace coach.
He was tearing his hair out with a few things, like stupid free kicks he was giving away. You could see him going mad. Eze, when they were under unbelievable, relentless pressure.
Yeah, you said it, yeah.
And they win a free kick, so just he tries to score from his own half.
Yeah.
He doesn't even.
Yeah.
You know, as a manager, you're going off your head, aren't you?
It's where you need that maturity as well, isn't it?
Just manage the game.
Game management.
See it out to half time and then go again.
Right, we're going to look ahead to the second half. I mean, who knows what's in store for that? But before we do, we wanted to bring you this. This is such a lovely little moment. We had your Manchester City fan Lucas is a special guest of the club today, and we brought him a little surprise as well. Here's how Hallie got on with the young fan that is Lucas.
Right, now we're in the Legends Lounge here, and we're in a very special VIP because Lucas is with us here, because he won a competition. I say he won it, it was actually his mum that kind of won it for him. It's the exclusive Citizens Official Member Competition, and in simple terms, Mum put in the entry, and Lucas is our winner. So he's the guest of honour here in the Legends Lounge, and I believe it's your first ever time at the Etihad. How are you feeling?
Excited.
Yeah? What does it look like compared to on the TV?
I feel like on TV it looks a lot smaller.
Right.
The atmosphere is great.
Brilliant. And did you know that your mum had entered the competition?
No,
you had
it was
no
a
idea.
surprise.
So tell me about when you found out you'd won.
Well, my mum just came up to me and said, "Oh, you've won this competition." I was like, "What? What competition?" And then she was like, "You're going to the Etihad Stadium." I was like, "What? My dream."
Amazing. So first things first, you've got someone very special to thank, I think, haven't you? Pass the microphone over. Mum, I don't know your name.
Cherie.
Right, Cherie, what happened? Tell me the circumstances.
So I just saw the competition on the page and thought, oh my God, it's Lucas's birthday on Monday, it'd be perfect. He's never been before, so he's a massive fan, absolutely massive. He loves Grealish, so. And then we got the email, I just couldn't believe it.
You see, this is the thing, people enter and don't think there's a genuine prize.
Yeah.
This is real stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, I was absolutely gobsmacked, so yeah, brilliant for him.
So if anybody else is out there, hasn't entered the next home game,
Yeah, do it.
Get it
Unless
done.
we do it, because we might want to win it.
Brilliant. Pass the microphone over. I assume this is your dad. Terrible assumption, but
Yes.
let's assume. What about your experience of the Etihad so far?
It's absolutely fantastic. I really love it. It's so prestigious. I used to come when Colin Bell and Francis Lee used to
Oh,
play.
my goodness, you're
I used to
coming
come
back.
then, yeah.
Right.
But since then, I haven't been coming.
Right.
So this is a surprise for me as well. Fantastic for me as well.
Absolutely phenomenal, and of course, I assume your
First
daughter
time.
as well.
First time for
So
Charlie,
it's a full
yeah.
family, a
First
full
time for
family
Charlie.
day out as well.
Family
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Now, just pass the microphone back. I assume I'm right in thinking you must have a favourite player.
Yeah, Jack
is it?
Grealish. I've loved him forever.
Jack Grealish.
Yeah.
Why do you love Jack so much?
Just the way he plays, and I don't really know. I just love him.
Oh, that's brilliant. Well, I'll tell you something. Not only have you won this prize and got all your family down here today, but Jack has given us, for you, a signed City shirt. So this is signed by Jack to you, as if it wasn't good enough today. How do you feel about that?
Oh my God! Wait.
Yeah, have a look. Signed by Jack for you. Isn't it worth entering these competitions? There you go.
Oh
there
my
it is.
God.
Signed by Jack for you.
Whoa.
Obviously,
Thank
he's a
you.
bit busy, so he can't come and say hello. But when he scores today, I'm sure he'll come and mention you
Yeah.
in the interview afterwards. There you go. Worth entering the competitions. These guys will tell you, look as though they're already having a great day, and game's not even started yet. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Ali, and thank you, Lucas. There he is with his signed shirt, so you know the drill. Enter those competitions. Right, myself, Mark and Paul will be back at full time. The lads are heading out, so let me hand you back over to Alistair Mann. It is Manchester City 2, Crystal Palace 2.
Thank you, Kel. Welcome back to the Etihad Stadium. And a change has been made, or will be about to be made, by Crystal Palace. Will Hughes, who is a holding midfield player, is going to come on. I don't think it's an injury. I'm pretty certain it'll be a tactical switch. But the fact is that after starting the game so brilliantly, Palace have been outplayed as the first half